All right, we're live.
Dude, I feel like I'm sitting at like a news desk. Like I've never had my camera this far back from me. I feel like I'm like about to read off the 6 o'clock news.
Well, your camera's like really clear on that new phone.
I know, right? How about that? I was rocking. I literally, if you were doing like the math on the version of phone that I have or that I had, and now that I have, I doubled the amount of phone that I had. I had a seven, now I have a 14. It's crazy.
Do I
Like
need to
if
hit
this
you with
would
a mic, John?
No, I think we're good to go. Let's roll. Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co host, James Luffy, and we are back. Luffy, this is the longest time we have gone since we started the podcast over 3.5 years ago that we have not recorded. We had to take a break, we had to recharge our batteries after LSU baseball won the national championship and to get ready for this coming football season. We got a lot of football to talk about between now and the beginning of the season. LSU is a minus 2.5 point favorite heading into the Florida State game in Orlando. And we have a packed show for you guys. We cannot wait to get to it. We are sorry that the delay lasted so long, but it was for the best. It was for the best. We had to recharge our batteries, and for all those that got tired of hearing from us, you got a break. And now we left you wanting some more, and we're back. Guess what? We're back. Luffy, it's great to see you.
Football's
How
back.
was your vacation?
Oh, it was good, dude. It was good. Celebrated the natty and got ready for football. I've been grinding the tape, watching old highlights, listening to radio, TV shows, whatever it may be. But I'm officially fired up. Recruiting's kicked back up into full force right now, and all the guys commit, or not all, but a lot of guys commit before their senior season starts. So, been dialed into that. Played a little golf. Saw former Tiger and national champion Sam Burns this past weekend at the golf course. Got to see him up close and personal at Squire Creek up in North Louisiana, his home course. Was very cool. He was scared to play in our group. Maybe our level of golf was a little, too high for him. But yeah, it was cool to see him out there grinding. Game of Go Tigers. He's ready for football. So, yeah, locked in, ready to go.
We are ready to get after it. But before we do all that, want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Our sponsors have been hurting. They literally texted me and they said that they've noticed a decline in their business since we took a vacation from the Out of the Box podcast. So we got to boost them back up. It's a great time to buy a home, right? Football
Yeah,
season's coming up. If you want to have a tailgate at your house, why not buy a house through Blaine Loop with Forte Realty? Forte Realty is new. They're the new kids on the block, but they are ready to take the state by storm. Give Blaine Loop a call or text him at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Blaine is the man. Blaine is my personal realtor. I have bought property through Blaine Loop. His name is on government or official doc. I think it's on government documents, right? Yeah. His
yeah.
name is on official documents with seals and official seals, not the water animal. But Blaine is the best realtor you are going to get. He's hungry. He is ready to fight. He's a major LSU fan. Blaine is the man. Call or text him at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Also, Boo Crew Media Network, boocrewmedia.com, and on social media at Boo Crew Media. Football season's coming up. I'll tell you what, their content on the Saints is dialed in right now. They also are just killing it with other types of content. I saw a video that they shared with Anthony Ronaldo's podcast of Kay Beloso telling a story the other day. Great friend of the show, by the way, Kay Beloso. We told him we were going to have him on after the national championship when you saw him on the golf course. So we do need to hit him up. We're going to do that. Maybe he'll do a football season preview with us. Who knows? But BooCrewMedia.com and on social media at Boo Crew Media is where you need to be this football season. The fall is right around the corner. I'm always one of the first people to declare it a new season. I can't believe summer has flown by this fast, especially I guess whenever you take a vacation. That's kind of how it goes. Vacations never last long enough, but we are ready for the fall. Football season is, Luffy, I know you have the count. How many days away until LSU
Ooh,
football's first day?
31?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Is it 31? Um, that's my guess. 31.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I was
It
right.
doesn't matter. We're
Checked it.
recording. Well, Luffy,
Pretty
I knew
good.
you knew it. I knew you knew it. But it would be okay if you didn't know it because you've been grinding the tape in other areas, the depth chart, recruiting, you name it. Like you're not worried about the date. You're worried about the preparation for the season, and that's what every LSU football player is worried about right now. Luffy, it's this time of year. The off the charts segment is back. People might have forgot. People might not remember. Every year we break down a specific position group on the LSU football team each week, heading up to the first game. Lumpy, I asked you straight up. I said, "Where do you want to start?" I said because there is a lot to talk about. Whether you're talking about Mason Smith coming back next year, whether you're talking about the quarterback battle and kind of how that transpired. A reminder: Walker Howard left, which I kind of forgot about until we started diving into the LSU football depth chart. But Luffy, you said that you wanted to start off with the running backs, and I think that's a
Yeah.
great place to start, given that we have some veteran guys coming back and we have some new guys coming in. It's going to be very interesting to see how that mixes into Brian Kelly's scheme.
Yeah, and I think we should go ahead and cover quarterbacks today because of the timeline we have from then into, if that's cool with you.
That is, I did not know that, but I'm perfectly okay with that.
Well, I feel like we know our two quarterbacks. We haven't got to see Ricky Collins yet at all, but we know and we've seen both Jaden and Garrett play. So I feel like there's not that much preparation. I did my preparation on running backs. We have some freshmen, we have some transfers, but for quarterbacks, I feel like we know what we have right now. And yeah, I guess where do you want to start? QBs or running backs?
I think we should go ahead and start off with quarterbacks, right?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the hardest position in sports. A lot of people, I think the running back room is a little bit less of like there's not as much controversy surrounding our running back room, right? Like everybody's got an opinion on the quarterback because that's the position that gets the ball in every play, and you have two different quarterbacks here that play completely different brands of football, right? And you're looking at Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier, the passer versus the runner, and it seems like the LSU fan base is split in half on whether they want a gunslinging pocket passer or they want a agile, fast quarterback that can run for a first down if need be, and maybe occasionally throw a first down. So I think we definitely start with quarterbacks. Um, I think it's looking like it's going to be Jaden Daniels,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, Ryan Kelly's pretty much said it's going to be Jaden Daniels unless something significant were to happen. And we've heard really good things about Jaden. He was out training with quarterback coaches this summer. We know about his elite speed and just his ability to get away from a linebacker, a defensive lineman, safety. When they think they have him in his hands, they just never do. So obviously his elite trait is his it just doesn't even look like he's running fast. And I know we've talked about this before, but like he almost looks like he's jogging and he's flying past people. So he gives you a completely different dynamic there. And if he progresses as a passer, which I think that he will, rumblings from the coaches and everything, it seems like even though camp hasn't started, he's taken a step, and it's another year two in the offense. Mike Denbrock coming back, that's huge. For a guy who had been in a completely different system at his last stop, and then coming here, having to learn everything kind of on the fly, and getting better as the season goes. A whole off season under your belt and more time working with Malik Neighbors and the other receivers. I really do think Jaden is a legit Heisman contender. I do. I mean, I know that there's a lot of hype around him now, even though maybe at first it wasn't all LSU fans weren't on, completely ecstatic for him to be coming back. But I personally was. I think that he really can take that next step. Got some offensive line pieces coming back, and I trust him, and I think he can win you games, a lot of games as your quarterback.
Yeah, I like everything you just said, Luffy. I think Jaden Daniels, it has to be him, right? He's coming back. He has pretty much a full year under his belt. He did get a little banged up last year. That's because he was running for his life. I think a year in SEC football, you can say whatever you want about Arizona State and his time there. I don't think that that comparison and that jump from any of his years at Arizona State is going to be as big as the jump that he is going to make from his first year to his second year here at LSU. I mean, the SEC is a completely different animal. I don't want you to take this out of context, but not you, but some people might. I mean, we all saw what happened with Joe Burrow. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is going to beat Joe Burrow, but 1 year of SEC play, being the starting quarterback under your belt, can make worlds of difference going into your second season in the SEC. I do think Garrett Nussmeier is, I mean, he's probably the best backup in college football, right? Like, I mean, he has this experience that is kind of rare nowadays because a quarterback like Walker Howard, which shout out to Walker Howard, really thought he was going to stick around. But we're talking about this team and this LSU team, and it's going to be great to beat him this season whenever we play. Where did he go? He went to Ole Miss, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's going to be great to beat him then. I think that's going to be a fun time. But yeah, I mean, just having somebody and another angle to look at it from is that Garrett Nussmeier is pushing Jaden Daniels. They're both pushing each other to be better because Garrett
Yeah.
Nussmeier wants to be on the field, right?
Yeah.
So that just having a quarterback battle that you can go back and forth, nudge each other, sit in the same room, almost have this kind of like competitive, like, I don't want to say hate, but drive to help you like perform the best every day and like not be complacent that your spot's going to get taken because it can. And if Jaden Daniels starts playing poorly, I think that would be the obvious step.
Well, and like you said, John, the potential for Jaden to get injured with the amount he runs is definitely there. And you saw Nussmeier last year, he was ready. When his number was called on and Jaden was hurt, he was ready. He knows he'll play at some point in the season, whether that be when we're up big or whether Jaden twists his ankle and he has to play the rest of the half. He's a guy who's coach's son. He stays ready. This is also another year in Denbrock's system and Coach Kelly's terminology. They always talk about he asked the quarterback to do a lot, right? So it's another year for Garrett to have learned the system and be more comfortable and be a better quarterback. And the competition, like you said, is definitely strong between the two, and it makes everybody better. The receivers better. When that second team comes in, everyone the second team tight ends, everyone's getting it better. When your backup quarterback is able to execute at a level that he is, it really just helps the team. Whether it be the defense, starting defense, and he's playing like a scout team, whatever it is, you have to love Nuss as your backup.
Yes, and Brian Kelly and Denbrock, they also have another year under their belt, right?
Yeah.
So it can only help, right?
And a guy who stuck around and could have left. So, in a day when people jump ship pretty fast, he stuck around. I really hope Denbrock is able to stay another year after this year, so Garrett does not have to switch playbooks, which I don't think it will be completely, just because Kelly, I think, sticks with a lot of the same terminology and philosophy. But it would be awesome to see him under the same system for a third year next season. But kind of getting far ahead of ourselves there.
Luffy, real quick before we move on to running backs, are we going to see Ricky Collins basically as much as we saw Walker Howard last year when we're up 45, 50, 60 against, I forget who we played, New Mexico State or, Southeastern or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see him in garbage time, and he'll probably just get to hand the ball off, but it will be mostly trash garbage time. And if you need a place, John, if you need a place to throw away your
I miss
trash
that so
in your
much.
house, you need to call Martina Workbox. They have roll-off dumpsters, they have storage containers, they have portable offices, they have luxury restroom rentals. They have the best, cleanest porta potties in the state of Louisiana. you have to call Workbox LLC. Ask for Martine. It is 225-343-4886. 225-343-4886. Call Workbox. You need a storage container, roll-off dumpster, luxury restroom rental, or porta potty. Call Workbox.
That was beautiful. I didn't even see that coming.
John, if you're not here, I got the controls in my hand. I can change the little graphics on that. I don't know if you noticed, but
I have been noticing that
yeah,
you are coming into your own as a podcast producer.
yeah.
I'm glad after 3.5 years you're learning how to operate the system here.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
basically a genius.
God, dude, I'm telling you, and for those that don't know, part of the reason that we have
Yeah,
not recorded in a while is because we have had some extreme technical difficulties, and Luffy and nor I are IT guys by any stretch of the imagination. Our main IT sound guy is Rory, and Rory is doing well. Rory and Crane, and what was his name? John James Crane Webster Loop.
yes.
They're doing fantastic. His whole family's doing well. He's killing it, and he's hopefully we'll see him pop in throughout the season. But yeah, for those that don't know, the reason we are doing this remotely is because we have no idea how to work audio equipment. So all right, so let's get to running backs. Luffy, I feel like this room, there's not a like clear like all right, he's your guy, number one guy, but we have definitely some depth, and we have multiple guys who have proven that they can run the ball in the SEC.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
personally, well, go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts first.
no, you can keep going, but I was going to say, just tell me where you want me to start with transfers, freshmen, guys coming back after you keep saying whatever you were saying.
I personally would think what I was going to say was I would think it would be one of the guys at least to start off the season, right? They might try and see what works against Florida State. I think the Florida State game we'll get into that later on, but I think it's going to be a little bit more lopsided than last year's game was. Hopefully, as soon as I say that, it's going to be a nail biter, and I'm going to lose on a what is it a doink off the upright. I'm gonna lose my bet on that. But all that to say, I think it's gonna be probably one of the guys coming back, whether that be Kane, Armani Goodwin, Josh Williams. I just those guys are proven, and I think BK knows how much is riding. And it's just always harder to put in a transfer or a new guy when you have guys that can run.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a running back by committee. I'll start with who you started with, Josh Williams. I think that's who most people think's going to take the first snap. He's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a small, shifty guy. Um, Coming back from an injury, he did not practice in the spring, I don't believe. So if he's able to stay healthy, he's probably your every down back. But I think you're going to see also Logan Diggs, the transfer from Notre Dame, who Brian Kelly's also familiar with. He's more of a big back, 6'1", 215, but also a guy who can catch the ball and is kind of an every down back, in my opinion. I think you can see a lot of them. Noah Kane coming back. He was kind of the short yard situation guy last year. They put him in when they didn't want Emery to fumble, it felt like, when they were on the goal line. I think he had like the most touchdowns. I think he definitely ran for the most touchdowns on the team, besides maybe Jaden Daniels. But running backs, he was given the ball, plenty of time. I don't think he's a top end guy. I don't think he's a guy that you think maybe has tons of potential. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, so Kane's coming back. A guy that I love and I hope can stay healthy is Armani Goodwin, because we saw that running against Mississippi State last year. When he breaks through the hole, he's had hamstring issues. He has explosive speed and can just flat out run. He's always running 100%. I love how he dives through the hole. Ideally, I would love to see Armani Goodwin out there taking 40% of the running back snaps. He's just dealt with some injury stuff throughout his career. And then you have John Henry Jr., who we assume is going to be back. Brian Kelly's been somewhat vague with his absence. I'm not sure if it was for school, catching up on that kind of thing. He wasn't there in the spring. He's an explosive play guy. We saw what he can bring you in the Alabama game last year, where he spins, goes for the touchdown. He's had some issues holding on to the football. You probably won't see him in clutch situations as far as down by the goal line unless he tightens that up. But I think we kind of know what Emory is to some degree at this point in his career. And then you have the freshman, freshman Trey Holly and Caleb Jackson, both Baton Rouge boys. Trey Holly, small back, 5'7", 195. Caleb Jackson, 6 foot, 225, more of a stockier guy, but small in stature still. He's from Baton Rouge, actually. But those two guys, I think you'll see a little bit of in that trash time in those games when we're up. But unless one of them busts out this fall, we're not really sure how much those guys time they'll be getting, just because we have a whole branch of veteran. I would consider Kane and Diggs and Josh Williams veteran backs, and then you have the sneakiest one of them all. Do you know who I'm about to say, John? You're like, I didn't even know we had another running back.
I mean, dude, we have a large running back room and guys that have proven that they can run. Who are you thinking?
Trey Bradford. He's back.
Wow, it's been a while.
Left, come back. Left, come back, I believe. Did he go to Baylor? What school was it? Was it Baylor? It doesn't say on LSU's website for a reason. But it's crazy. His story has been, pretty much well documented as far as him leaving. He's a potential guy. But, John, for him to come back for a third time, Kelly must have seen something, and the coaches must have seen something, because we have a group of running backs, right? But I think Trey Bradford is a guy who catches the ball out of the backfield and works well in Denbrock's system. Maybe he comes out this fall and starts taking over. We've heard some good things about him as of recently. He won the Iron Tiger, right? He did the other week, which is like the summer workouts they pick a guy each week that grinded, and they said he's one of the faster players on the team. So a sneaky running back who maybe not a lot of people are talking about for LSU. He's only a redshirt sophomore at this point, but still a guy who is mature physically. It being his third year of college.
It says he went to Oklahoma and then came back.
Yeah, Oklahoma. Yeah, sorry, not Baylor. So yeah, kind of a crazy situation with him. But any thoughts on the running back position, John?
I do like the prodigal son story. I do like the comeback story. Everybody likes a comeback, right? I think I was scrolling through a couple of articles. I see the Athletic has Josh Williams number one. I think Josh Williams is your guy. I think given the way he is, his story, I mean, crawling out as a walk-on and being that just hard-nosed runner that you can depend on every play. I believe he got hurt one of the games last year. He hurt his back or something. He got hit weird. But I think he's your most consistent and dependable day one guy. I would like to see Armani Goodwin again. I don't know how he's going to hold up as far as the injuries go. He was kind of prone last year, but at the same time, he was kind of running for his life. He was kind of like Jaden Daniels at some time.
He just hits the hole. He hits it so hard, and he's so explosive. When we went to that practice that day, John, I remember he had a couple really good runs, and then he pulled up with a hamstring. So I feel bad for the kid, honestly, because I think he's a really talented running back. So I hope he's able to get healthy. by all accounts, he's a hard worker and a good teammate. Like, there's never been anything said bad about him. So I hope he gets his shot this year.
Yeah, and I feel like we've been saying it because we've been saying it for years now. But I mean, it would be cool if Emery could somehow kind of
Yeah.
sneak in. I mean, and just as kind of like a last chance. His story right now kind of feels like, obviously they're different and for different reasons and whatnot, but his story kind of feels like Miles Brennan to me. I don't know if you kind of feel the same way. Like things just didn't ever work out in his favor. And it looks like this is going to be his last shot as long as he's not at the fishing camp and snap his arm in half between now and the season. It looks like he at least will have a shot. Uh, I would like to see something work out for him, even if he just contributes uh, here and there whenever we need him, whenever somebody goes down. Just the opportunity to be able to say, like, I was an official running back for LSU and like I actually contributed to the program
Well, I
because
mean, I think he did, to some degree.
I think he did, but I wish it was more consistent. I
The
wish he
touchdown
just
against Bama kind of gave it was a really good moment for him, I think. But
I don't want us whenever we're talking about John Emery's career at LSU to be talking about specific games because you look at like where he was like projected to go coming out of high school, and I know things change. But I don't know. I just would like to see him do well. That's all. That was the long way of saying that. I would just like to see him kind of come out of nowhere, not nowhere, but come out of a crowded running back room and contribute positively. Maybe help us beat Bama again this year.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's enough options there to where someone really separates them, or hopefully separates himself to a degree. Like, hey, this is the guy when we need, you know, a big play or 7 or 8 yards, and he can go down the field and stay on the field the whole time for the whole drive and get it done for us. And I think that this is what Brian Kelly does, right? He doesn't. He might know there's not like a superstar or a Leonard Fournette in that group or a Stephen Ridley or someone like that, but he goes out and he gets depth and he adds some people that he maybe takes a chance on. Again, Emery uh, went through some things and wasn't with the team this spring, but Kelly's like, nope, come on. He sees the potential and he's like, says he's been doing all the right things. So this is what he does. He goes out, he builds depth. He builds depth. He gets a guy in the porter, a couple guys in the portal, and adds some freshmen that we think could be solid. And um, I think it's a solid group. I don't think it's the best group on our team by any means, but yeah.
Let me ask you this. So, how do you think Jaden Daniels, I guess, strides that he hopefully makes or has made from last season to this season, whether that be becoming a better passer, whether it be being more accurate, whether it be sitting back in the pocket instead of like, oh crap, my first option's not open. I got to get out of here. How do you think that's going to affect our running game? Because I think Brian Kelly's goal, and I think if there would have been enough time in the last season to truly fix the goal or fix this issue, he would have. But I feel like Jaden Daniels, you know, was kind of uncomfortable because the O line. I wouldn't say was not good, but it had some holes, right? You had some you had some pretty glaring issues that forced Jaden Daniels to have to run pretty much immediately when he didn't see his first
Yeah.
option.
And I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the year how the offensive line, they didn't play a single game together, for up until like or 2 games in a row together up until like the seventh or eighth game. It was constantly changing throughout the beginning of the season. That couldn't have helped Jaden out. Again, still learning the offense, and I think that's the biggest step for him will be mentally and just being comfortable. I think that he was pretty accurate last year. He missed some throws, but every college quarterback's going to miss some throws. He throws a really solid, like I would call it underrated deep ball. He threw some really good ones in the Florida game. So he has that ability and skill to be accurate down the field. I think it's just making the right read and trusting the offensive line.
I mean, it was a combination of issues, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you have 300-pound defensive linemen running at you, your first
Yeah.
thought is like, oh, I weigh 150 pounds or whatever he weighs, 190 or whatever. I got to get out of here, and it worked out a lot. I mean, he had a lot of rushing yards last year. I think what Brian Kelly wants to see, and I think what a lot of LSU fans will be happy to see, is more of that true dual threat capability, right? And that opens up the run game too. If you have a true threat coming across the middle in the passing game and you do a little draw play or whatever, like you have a true dual threat you can run and pass. So I think that's Jaden Daniels' biggest upside that Brian Kelly and Denbrock have really been focusing on this year. Honestly, though, I do love to see Jaden Daniels run. It's awesome to see him run. I don't like seeing him get hit, but I do like seeing him run and scramble for out of an impossible situation.
He's so fast, dude. He's so hard to grab and pull down to the ground for his size. It's impressive. It really is.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a
he's
weapon
just
knowing you have that elite skill on your team. It really is how you beat a better team with a roster that's not as good, aka us, beating Bama last year.
yes, yes. God, that was so awesome. As the year kind of goes on, like you kind of like you don't forget about it, but then you're like, then every now and then you're just sitting at work and you're like, we beat Bama last year in Tiger Stadium on a 2-point conversion play. Like it just doesn't get any better than that. Like it's one of those things you just think about every now and again, and you just smile. It's like remembering the the college years, right? Like you think about something funny that you did in college or whatever, and then you're like, wow, uh, this was that was cool when it happened. So, all right, Luffy.
All right.
Before we wrap up the show, got to give a huge shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland. House Bar in Tigerland on social media at House of Tigerland on Twitter, and Tiger House in Tigerland on Facebook and Instagram. Tigerland House on Twitter. I'm sorry, it's been a while. HouseInTigerland.com.
And John,
Shout out to the boys.
it's about to be cool again. So that means I'm breaking out my house sweater. It's a must.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite clothing items. You got to go to the website and check out some of their gear. They got some great stuff on there.
Yes, they do. And school's starting up soon. I know that that might scare some people. It is funny too. Like every August or whatever, August 1st, like I used to get anxiety about the school year starting. In college, it was a little bit less because it's like, oh, all my friends and we're gonna party, but we're also gonna go to school, whatever. But yeah, school's about to start, and every Thursday and Monday and Tuesday and Friday and Saturday, if you're not at the House Bar in Tigerland and you're in college, or if you're not in college, what are you doing, right? What are you doing? It's the best pizza, the best beer, the best environment. It is your home, House in Tigerland. Tell the boys over there, Jeff and Casey, huge supporters of the Out the Box podcast, that the Out the Box show sent them in. We have a special guest, Luffy.
There he is.
Hey, special guest co-host.
There he is. All right, give us your season prediction. LSU's single season record. What do you think? No postseason. Sorry, regular
or bust.
No season.
No postseason.
Postseason.
So 12 games. You have 12
SEC
games.
West. We're winning the SEC West.
All right. What about numbers? We're talking numbers.
Yeah. Put a number to it.
12-0.
12-0. Why not?
12-0. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
It's calling a shot.
A lot of haters around us right now, so I say 12-0. I saw that we have a 7% chance to win the SEC championship.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, LSU had the number one team ranking going into this baseball season, and we talked about it throughout the season that normally if you're number one going in, you don't end up number one. So I don't want to try to do that twice in a year. Like LSU baseball already did it, and that's fine. But I'm cool with people doubting us.
Yep. No, that was fake. That was meant to happen. They knew. So That's it.
All right. You
Special
heard it
guest.
first here. Yes.
Special
Wow.
guest.
Some people would kill to be on this show, and then you got your roommate who just walks in while you're recording, and he gets to be on the show.
He's a lucky man.
He's in good company. He's with Joey Chestnut, Jacques Doucet,
It's true.
Cade Beloso. He might be on the Mount Rushmore of Out the Box podcast guests. Not. All right, Luffy.
Got anything else?
Do you have any misc topics you want to discuss? Any?
No, we're on a roll recruiting. We're not going to do that. We'll usually do like a signing day recruiting thing. I know it's hard to keep up throughout the year for everybody, so don't want to bore everybody. But I want to tell everyone we're hot right now, and hopefully we get this running back, Caden Durham, and Colin Simmons, the 5-star. Those two guys, when you see those names, hopefully, I think the running back commit in like a week. So yes, next Thursday, I think. But so hopefully, Colin Simmons, and Cade Durham. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Those two guys. Look for those two guys if we need them. Like their tweets, retweet.
Mm-hmm. If you see him out at the house bar in Tigerland,
Yes.
buy him a drink for sure.
Exactly. Well, if they're
no, just buy him a drink. We'll leave it at that, right? I think everybody knows the rules. Play by the rules, and the rules that you don't like, just skate around them. All right. LSU baseball has also been hot recruiting, but that we're still on the high from this year's national championship. We'll talk about that after football season. But Luffy, it's great to be back on the Out the Box show with you. Looking forward to a great football season. Tailgate season's right around the corner. We will be live for that. I got everything out of the shop the other day. The tents, the chairs, the speaker, things like that. I think the speaker's at y'all's house, but either way, we're excited to cover LSU football for another season. Hopefully we'll get to sit in the press box again. That was awesome. Really cool covering the Tigers from there. And I'm looking forward to a great season, Luffy. Shout out. Go ahead. You are as well? Yes. Shout out to all of our great sponsors, the House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. Just kidding. It's been a while since we recorded, but I didn't forget Blaine Loop doesn't work for Keller Williams Realty anymore. He works for Forte Realty.
No free ads. Tighten it up.
Call or text him at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Shout out to the Boot Crew.
Free ads right now.
Yeah, nobody gets on.
Bleep their name.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be good for business. We got to make up for lost time, Luffy. We hadn't had a podcast episode in like over a month. So shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. And with that, I need to go find a new outro song because it is no longer baseball season. Do you have any suggestions?
Ooh. No, I don't.
First song that comes to mind.
No, I'm trying. I mean, you could always go with like LSU pregame.
Or I might just clip that and make that just the end, and that's it. I think I'm going to do that.
Or like any Boosie song.
I was going to say Boosie. I saw a video of him making a cheeseburger the other day.
What else would be a good football's back? I'm not a good music suggester.
I do love whenever they play like Set It Off or one of his other songs from Lil Boosie in Tiger Stadium, and like every other word's like bleeped out. Like it's just kind of funny that they're like playing the song, like trying to like pump people up.
They see the instrumental. There's almost no words in them.
We'll see. I need to do some research. But right. Luffy, I'm looking forward to a great season.
All right, what do I do? Just hit it in broadcast. Yeah. Are you gonna go away whenever I hit it in broadcast?
No.
Okay.